My name's Hutch, I'm a gaming sex icon. So it's April 28th, it's a Friday, which means it's the day that I do Quality Time with Hutch, which is sort of like a podcast. That's how I'm gonna describe this thing. It's not an interview, it's a discussion. So I might talk about myself sometimes, he might talk about me. It's not just focused on him, it's more of a discussion. I invited Brian, otherwise known as Terroriser, to come on. I've been playing games with him on and off, not like consistently, but with some degree of regularity for like a year now. I met him through Nanners, and he's always struck me as just a really level-headed, well-put-together young man. And he's a funny guy too. So I thought I'd invite him on and we'd have a discussion, because I realized I didn't really know too much about him. And so I like to use these videos as an opportunity to get to know my fellow content creators. I want to throw another plug out there for the merch shop that I just opened up with Designed by Humans. We have 2 shirt designs, one that says Respect the Bish, one that says Gaming Sex Icon. It's been selling really well. So thank you guys for supporting me by buying these shirts, and I'm glad you guys are digging them so far. That being said, sit back, relax, grab a beer, enjoy the video.
So my name is Hutch. I make videos and put them on the internet, and every Friday I do a series called Quality Time with Hutch, which you guys are watching right now. And this week I decided to invite Brian, otherwise known as Terroriser, to come on. So why don't you say hello to the people?
Hi, how are you all? This is kind of weird for me, considering I watch Quality Time with Hutch for, I don't know how long, how many years now? Jesus. Like 4 years now?
Well,
weird that I'm on it now.
I mean, it's weird for you, not weird for me.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Weird for me. Yeah, let's get that clear.
This is
Weird
a really
for me.
big deal for
Let's
you,
go.
Brian. So I don't
Yeah,
know if you know this, but this is a really up-and-coming series that I'm doing right now. So
It's the highest point of my career, and I want to say thank you for this.
So where are you from, dude? I just want to kind of get, like, we've played video games a bunch, like in the last year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know too much about you, so I'd like to bond with you a little bit.
I'm an enigma. I'm from Dublin in Ireland. I grew up in the city until I was around the age of, I'd say, 13, and then I moved to the countryside. So I didn't actually have like internet until I was 18 years of age, and it was when I was 18 I first found like YouTube videos.
Wow.
So,
You didn't have internet
yeah.
until you were 18 years
not
old?
until I was 18 years of age.
That's fucking nuts. That's awesome. You're
Yeah.
like a purebred. You're like a pureblood.
So guess what the first online Call of Duty game was I ever played? First one.
I'm going to guess you're like 24, so what would that be? So we're in 2017, 2011, so Modern Warfare 3?
No, Black Ops 1.
Ooh, I was off by 1. I was close,
So
though.
you're close. No,
Yeah.
you're close. I'm 26 though. I'm 26 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I'm
that's
26 now.
That's something. Do you like when you were a kid, were you pissed that you didn't, like, why didn't you have the internet? Your parents just didn't have it, or how did that?
Well, okay, so in Ireland, the broadband internet scene didn't hit us until I would say around 2009 kind of area, and it never really came into my household. It kind of did, like whoever the telephone company was, they kind of gave us this box, but my dad never really put it together. I was blissfully unaware of what the internet truly was. So I was a football, like I used to play soccer, football, like religiously. So I was really never in the house. So
Yeah.
I was more going out and playing sports. And then not until I started like in school realizing how bullshit education really is, and finding my love for video games. I used to play mostly kind of like campaign-based games, so the necessity for the internet wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And when from the age of 13 to 18, I had, do you remember that old school dial-up internet with that, ghetto
Of course, yeah.
sound? That's
Yeah,
all
of
I
course.
had. That's all I had for those up until the age of 18. And then I moved into my first house during my college, and I got broadband internet, and that's where it all began, really, for me. So
just blew your fucking mind.
It was incredible, absolutely incredible. I didn't realize, I was addicted to the internet. Whenever I went to someone's house and they had broadband, I was always like trying to, get their Wi-Fi key, and I'd be that really quiet guy in the corner on my phone and laptop doing stuff, because it was like a drug. it was like a drug for me.
Yeah.
It was completely alien to me about the whole internet scene. So
That
when
might
I
have
was
worked
18,
out.
I started.
That might have worked out for the better for you, though, to
Yeah,
not be
did,
exposed to all that until later on.
Yeah, like you said, I came in pure. I guess.
So how did you get into YouTubing then? And like, what was the how did that seed
Catalyst?
get planted in your mind?
So when I was in a college called DIT, Dublin Institute of Technology. If there's anyone Irish here watching that, they were like, "Oh, I know that one." I was in college, and I moved into a house with 4 other friends from my course, and one of them was watching machinima, and so he showed me this, and I watched Kevin from How to Annoy, and
Yeah.
I watched Respawn.
He was great.
watched-
How to Annoy
He was
really
fantastic.
great.
Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. And then I watched also a group called Good Griefing, and I just watched, yourself and all those other guys who watched on YouTube, and I was like, I could do this easily. Easily, I could do this.
Did you always
I don't know.
Did you always have kind of a boisterous, outgoing personality?
Yeah, I was the life and soul of the party, the kid that never shut up. Talked a lot. Just, I don't know, it just always was in me, that kind of like, not center of attention, but just kind of, oh, maybe it is center of attention.
Yeah,
I
I had the same thing growing up. I wanted to be in the
just
middle
have
of
fun.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just having fun. Some people who are a bit more quiet might think, "Oh God, he's attention seeking," or else the others like this kid's full of energy or whatever. So yeah, it kind of was just everything I liked. I used to love videos. When the first camera phones came out in school, I've got my first camera phone. I was addicted to making videos. So I had this, always had this love for video making and then video games. And when I saw that you could actually somewhat make a living putting the two of those things I love together, I was like, this is a no-brainer. Might as well give it a go. But
So
I didn't really do it. I didn't really do it to make it a career though. At first, it was just kind of like just to prove to my friends I could do what they're doing. I
Yeah.
could do it better. And then it just kind of, took off.
So how did you? So the first, how long did it take for your videos to get?
6 months.
About 6 months, and then how many views were you getting?
6 months. I'd say on a good day, like 1,000.
That was after 6 months.
Maybe 5. Like, see, the thing was, that group I was talking about, Good Griefing, they were quite big. They were like, at the time, they had like 80,000 subs, 70,000 subs, and that was, monstrous at the time. Like, I was like, holy crap, these guys are huge. And I used to watch them so much, and they did a thing where they were actually taking like community submissions for similar type of videos. So I used to make videos similar to theirs, and I submitted it. I submitted this video. I think it was Napoleon Dynamite Plays Black Ops, where I went around with this like Napoleon Dynamite, jeez, like doing that kind of voice, going around and annoying people
Kip.
playing Black Ops. Yeah, I know, but when I did the voice, I thought it was Napoleon, and everyone was like, "That sounds more like Kip," and I was like, "Jeez, freaking A." And I was like, yeah, okay, right. But I still told it Napoleon Dynamite, whatever.
Yeah.
And and so they were like, wow, this is actually really good. And so they asked me to join the group, and I did. And then that's where I kind of got that little boost with them. I kind of grew, and then I made some more stuff. And then it was just, and after 6 months, that was the point where it slowly grew. And
Right.
then there's other events that really began to accelerate the domino effect.
That seems to be the trend. I've talked to a few people about how they found success on YouTube. I don't think I've found a single person that had they had like a giant spike. Like it was like everybody's story seems to be this slow burn. But I think that like maybe like the average viewer wouldn't really expect that. Like if they just stumbled on your channel, they might just assume that you were always big or you got really big really fast. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of work and sweat that goes into it that you don't really get too much compensation for in the beginning. It's more just about kind of honing your craft, learning how to edit, figuring out what kind of personality you want to put
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Have you would you say you've made any mistakes so far? Have you ever said anything that you regretted or put up a video that you regretted?
I think there was one no, was there? There was one video that I thought was a bit like, there's like those YouTubers that are on the controversial side. Their content is always controversial, which is a big thing at the moment.
You're talking about like
Well,
Keemstar and stuff like that?
Yeah. Like, it's
Okay,
like
okay.
Voldemort for me.
Okay,
Can't name
alright.
him.
Have you
But, like,
have you
it's-
been featured on his show or something?
No, God, no. No.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah. But like, so I made a video, I think it was called Black Man Voice Trolling. And obviously from the offset, that rings a bell. You're like, whoa, okay. But it was like, I had
what
this
year
voice
was
change.
this?
Geez, that before it was like an issue, like 2013, maybe 2014,
Yeah, you
where like
can't really
it
do
was
that
it,
now.
yeah, but it wasn't like I was like saying anything, controversial. It was like I got like a voice changer that really added like a deepness to my voice, and I was like, damn man, and I'm just going around and just getting funny reactions. But it wasn't like I was saying anything bad, but it
Yeah.
was just me with a voice that sounded like a very deep black man voice. If and I hope
No, no,
it's
no.
so
You're
it
good.
like back then, like I was so blissfully unaware because I was younger. But when you get older, you're like, oh, dude, what were you thinking?
No, I did a
I was
video
such a
called
it was risky.
I did a video called "Stupid People Are Stupid," and it was just I was in a lobby with these guys that were having the fucking dumbest argument, and they both sounded black, and I added my own translation on the screen, like I wrote out exactly what they said phonetically, but I didn't
Yeah.
feel like it was racist at all. I was just writing how they were pronouncing the words.
Phonetically, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I would have done that if it was two white people speaking or if it was two Asian people speaking, whatever. I
Yeah.
would have just, I found the argument funny, and I got a lot of shit from that, for like back in
I
the day.
think in as an Irish person, like if you ask people from Ireland about racism as a whole, we're very like unaware. Like, do you remember we played the first time I think we played together was H1Z1, like the old map where there was that big water
Yep.
dam. Do you
Yep.
remember that one?
Yep.
And you got into a car, and I honked my horn, and I said honky honky. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? You were live streaming.
A little bit, yeah.
And I went honky, honky, and that was me from GTA. Like there was a car that went and I just said honky, honky, and everyone just went whoa, and I was like, oh God, what did I say? What did I say? And I
Honky's
got really
fine.
paranoid.
You could say
And I
honky
didn't.
if you're about to. If you, I feel like that word is fine if you ask me. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
whatever.
but what I'm saying is, as an Irish person, we're so unaware. We're completely isolated. We don't know these things that go on in the States or even in England to a degree.
Yeah.
And yeah, like racism doesn't really exist at all in Ireland. So when like what I'm trying to get at is when you're doing YouTube, from like my standpoint as an Irish person, you have to learn a lot very quickly.
Yeah.
So if
yeah,
you
yeah.
do make a mistake, you need to learn, and you need to learn it fast, because if you make that mistake again or learn from other people's mistakes, you have to adapt to, like, let's be honest, the main viewership is, and the biggest demographic is the United States. So, you have to be aware of what you can and can't do. So,
Yeah.
yeah, fortunately, that was one of my strong suits, was kind of adaptation.
That's really important these days, especially these days, because like the platform is so volatile. Like look at the month of
yeah.
of April. Like the ad revenue just got chopped. Like I don't know about you, but for me, it got like chopped in like a quarter, and now it's at like 45% of what it was, and you just have no
Yeah.
control over it
Yeah.
as a creator. And so I think
Yeah.
now it's like so much more important than ever to really be adaptable and to figure out alternative ways to bring in revenue or make content that people are going to want to see. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough out there for creators. Still a great job. I'm not
It's
complaining.
still fantastic, yeah, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you unfortunately, and like I never like doing it, but you have to think of it like a business. I've never enjoyed doing that. I don't like thinking of it like that, but you kind of have to, because I don't want to go back to Subway. I don't want to go back to that shitty job.
Was that your first job?
Well, it wasn't my first job, but it was it was definitely the main job I had during the flourishing years
Sure.
of my YouTube career, and that was the job I kind of got out of as YouTube really began to become a thing.
So at what point did you were you able to look at the YouTube stuff and go, holy shit, I can quit my job? Do you remember
Yeah.
that day? Like I remember the days that I quit my jobs to do YouTube.
I didn't. Okay, so I didn't really. There wasn't a day where I looked at my analytics and said, you know what, it's happening. Like it was never really like that for me. It was, I looked at my analytics and it was always at that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That kind of point of maybe. Like it was always threading the line of this. If this gets higher, this could be a thing. But it always kind of stayed at that point. And I was just about making rent. My rent, I'd say in dollars, would have been let's say around the $300 mark, because I was sharing with other people. And you have to realize when you're living in Ireland, sharing with other people and trying not to be loud, making YouTube videos
Oh,
late at
yeah.
night with people in America, it was fucking tough. It was
Yeah, yeah.
very tough. And I was just at that point where it was, will I make it or will I not? And I quit the Subway job for actually a different job, just because I hated new management that came into Subway. So I got this new job that was somewhat similar. It was like working in, let's say, a Walmart behind like the deli counter where I made sandwiches. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And so I was doing this, and there was one day I was playing with my friend Evan Vanos. It was a Saturday night. I'd worked the next morning. We were playing GTA. I can't remember what the session was, but we were playing GTA till like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning for me. And then I had to be up in like 3 hours. So I woke up 5 hours later, late for work. I ran into work, and I had to cycle a long distance. I don't have a car, so I had to go a very long way to get into work. Did my day's work, and the next day, the next day, I went in. The manager called me into the office, and he fired me on the spot because I was late by 2 hours. No warning, no nothing. So he fired me, and I kind of went back, sat down at my table, and just thought, "Fuck! Like, what do I do?" And then I just looked at my analytics and was kind of like, "Do you know what? Let's just go for it. Let's just keep making videos," because I was uploading, let's say, every third day, every fourth day, because I was working.
All right. Okay.
So I said, right, let's just go for this. I have about enough money to keep my head above water for 2 months. 2 months. Let's go for it. And I did. And that's where it kept growing, kept growing. Live streams. I was supported by like a fantastic community on my Twitch channel.
Yeah.
The tips really kept my head above water. I had a Patreon account that it's like when you open up a Patreon, it's kind of like, it is a tough one to do because you don't want to feel like a charity case, but I'm actually kind of grateful that I did, because without that, these different avenues of income, I would not have been able to do this full time. I could have fizzled out and just said, look, I have to go with the safe option, get a 9 to 5 job. But without doing those things and taking that little risk, and very grateful for that guy for firing me. I'm actually kind of glad I was late for work, because now this is my job. I absolutely love it. It's crazy to think just because I was fired, it gave me that little kind of incentive to just, go for it. And so like I said, I never had that day where I thought this could be a job. It was always kind of, I don't know, I'm not sure, and then just need a little kick up the backside, and I just went for it. So that was it.
Yeah, I remember being wary in the beginning, but my experience was a little different, because once I started uploading to Machinima, there was like a massive spike. So for me, it was like, it was a case of just, literally going from 1 month of waiting tables and kind of like barely scraping by, and my girlfriend at the time was irritated with me because I wasn't like 1 month I didn't make enough to cover my end of rent, because like I was just working at the Olive Garden at the time and not making a lot of money. And then it was just literally the next month I made like what I would have made in close to a year probably at Olive Garden in like 1 month or 1 quarter. And so it was just so obvious to me that was my path. But like I said before, everyone I seem to talk to these days on this show about their experience, that just wasn't their experience, and it's a totally different landscape now too. So you're in a long distance relationship. How's that working out for you? You're muted, by the way. I'm not sure if you know that. Uh-oh. I don't know what happened.
Oh my God, what a horrible time to get muted. What the hell? Okay. You could have thought that was super awkward or something. Yeah, so I'm in a long distance. Thanks for bringing this up. Yeah, I'm in a long distance relationship with Miss Vixen. She lives in Washington, so Washington State. And yeah, it's tough, but fortunately I'm able to, fly over quite easily. Like it's not a huge deal, but the whole visa thing is definitely an issue. Like,
what can you explain to me how much of a pain in the ass that is? Like what hoops do you have to jump through to get a visa to stay here?
Well, like you could do it through your MCN, and then you'd go through the whole generic visa application system. You get references from other American companies that you've worked with, just to kind of say this person, has done work with us. We can kind of vouch for this person. He's whatever, he earns X amount, stuff like that.
So what's the holdup?
Well, it's a multitude of different things, but like mostly it's like right now I'd like to stay in Ireland just for the next while, and then I'm planning like next year to look into definitely going over there. Just want to like get everything sorted like where I am now,
Sure.
and then look towards what I want to do. But yeah, it is tough doing the whole kind of like she's on a Skype call like on my computer over there. Like that's unfortunately the reality of a long distance relationship. But she's fantastic. Won't have it any other way. So.
You guys are one of those cute couples. You post very like, hey, look at us, we're super cute pictures on the Twitter.
She does. She does, Hutch. She does. I don't do shit. I'm not.
I feel like I've
that.
seen you post a few of those. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, come on.
Tell me if you agree with me, but there are some benefits to a long distance relationship. One of them, the chief one being that even though, okay, so you don't get to see each other that much, which sucks, like a lot, especially when you like the person you're with or love them, But the other thing is when you do see him, it's like magical. So if you only see him like once every couple months and you only get to see him for like a week, that week is like the best week of your life. Immediately followed by, a shitty 7 weeks, and then it's like the best week of your life again. So there's these.
It's kind of like anti-cabin fever, I guess. It's nice to have that kind of little, like if I need to work or whatever, we don't have any conflict of interest where like she's a streamer, I'm a YouTuber, so we don't have to share a setup, which we have to do in her place, sometimes in my place. But then when we see each other, we kind of have like this little plan where like, she'll have the computer for X amount of time, and then we have the rest of the time just to be together. So it is definitely really good. That short amount of time you're together, we kind of make the most of it, and then it is kind of nice. Like this might sound like she'll probably listen to this and be like, "Wow, what an asshole!" But it is kind of nice having that little bit of distance because it's like distance makes the heart grow fonder. It kind of makes you realize, oh man, I do really enjoy being with this person. So
and it also frees you up to do like I imagine you're a busy guy. It's and sometimes you got to put a lot of hours into this thing. So
exactly what I was saying. Yeah, it is kind of nice to have that bit of freedom to just knuckle down, get your head down, and get all this work done.
Yeah.
And she's well able to take care of herself over in Washington. So that is definitely a benefit. But
yeah, no, my girlfriend has worked in the YouTube space / games media space for like the last, I want to say 6 or 7 years, and or no, 6 years, maybe 5 actually. I'm not sure, but anyway, so she knows what goes into this. She's familiar with it, and I'll still like. I'm usually the one that has more of a problem with being too busy than she does. Like I've been really busy like the last month, and so I find myself like super apologetic all the time because I just don't have as much time as I want to like devote to us spending time together and having fun and stuff like that. But she's usually the one telling me like, no, you're good. I understand. Like we'll make time later on. But yeah, I mean it's like trying to find time to take care of the relationship that you're in can be a little bit tricky when you have to. YouTubing, streaming requires a certain degree of obsession, and there's times where you have to really kind of insulate yourself and really focus on what you're doing. And sometimes a relationship can be I don't want to say an interference because that makes it sound terrible. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it can be a little bit stressful. And I imagine adding distance in that makes it a little bit more stressful. But you guys seem to be pretty happy. You guys seem like a solid couple. Solid couple. I've never been fond of those couples that kind of like do the whole kind of like this might sound contradictory because I don't know what she's putting up that you've been saying, but I don't like those couples that are tweeting at each other constantly like I love you, oh I love you too. Like she's right beside you, just tell her. I've always made that clear that I don't want to be that kind of overly affectionate online. Totally. I want our relationship to be between us. Yeah, so, you got to have something sacred. Like some things need to be like yours.
That's my thing. I don't like forcing it down other people's throats. Like I've seen a lot of people in this world that we work in that's very kind of like pushing their relationship. And kudos to them. If they're happy, they're happy. No problem. Like, I'm not saying, oh, they just love each other. That's fine. But I just don't. I'm not about that. I don't like, kind of forcing it upon everyone else.
Yeah. You take a risk when you make your relationship a commodity or an item.
Yes.
Or an item to profit off of.
Because I've seen a lot of times where while it's good, it's great, and then when it turns bad, it's a disaster.
Do you guys do a lot of vlogging together, or do you keep that kind of chill?
Kind of chill. Like, she'll vlog, but she'll never really make a video out of it. So we have like this huge, we have probably like a year's worth of like family footage that'll turn into in years to come.
Yeah.
But when I'm vlogging, like, she's absolutely fantastic. When, like, she kind of understands that when I'm doing the vlog, I just keep it on myself. But whenever I need, let's say I'm on stage at a gaming convention, she's like, "Give me your camera, and I'll get reactions from the crowd." And do that. She's like my second hand, if that makes sense. Yeah. She'll always be like, people are. It's not. I don't want people thinking, "Wow, he hides his girlfriend." No, I don't. I just don't want to, throw it or force it upon people. Like, "This is my girlfriend. I love her. She's amazing. This is my girlfriend. Did I remind you of a girlfriend?" Yeah. Not like that. But
it takes a lot of I
want the relationship to be between two people.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
2 million people.
I just recently invited Esme to come on for a couple videos on the channel, and I felt like really not uneasy, but very apprehensive about that for a long time, because I've done that sort of thing before where I had like the person I was with on a lot of my videos, and it's not that I was trying to exploit the relationship. It was just I was choosing back then to be really transparent. Yeah. Because I hadn't learned the lesson yet that vlogging is all well and good, and it can be a lot of fun to share that side of you, but when shit is not that great, it is not fun.
It's like a mini prison. You'll be locked in. You talking about when you have a negative mindset and you're trying to, convey this positive outlook in vlogs, let's say?
Sure, yeah. I mean, like, sometimes like shit just fucking happens, and like both people are stressed out that day. Maybe you're getting your taxes done, or maybe like a relative is sick or something like that. You don't want to fucking turn on the camera and pretend like you're not, pretend like you're feeling fine. That's exactly, to me is like the hardest thing, is like pretending to be happy when I'm not. It's never been come very naturally to me. And you strike me as a no bullshit kind of guy, a straight shooter, Brian. And
yes, to a degree. Like I've gone through my hell recently with my father passing away. So there was an element of me having to do that as well. Fortunately, like, I didn't do face cam on videos, because if I did face cam on videos, I think people that watch our videos are not idiots. They can read us like a book. Sure. And so, the fortunate thing with me not doing a face cam, I needed like something to distract me, to keep me going. And by doing the videos, like, it was a nice, distraction from reality. But like with vlogging, people are going to be able to see your face or whatever. So yeah, you can really tell. Like, if I just knew in myself that I wasn't 100% myself, but I have had to try and convey that happy, optimistic side to me for about a month. And then I kind of sat down and, let people know what happened, and then just give them an understanding, because like I'm that kind of person that I'm like, I don't want to hide shit from people, but I knew I had to hide stuff just for the benefit of everyone, until I came to a point where I felt I was able to kind of explain everything properly, because in the midst of everything happening, heightened emotions, I was afraid, and there's a lot of paranoia that went on. I was like, paranoid people would think I'm acting weird, so like, you'd have to address it. So yeah, that's kind of like that could be another instance of a life event that made me kind of it made me a bigger and wiser person afterwards. And I can take that into the whole video life, that you have to realize that life is real, in the sense that real shit happens out of nowhere, and you have to be, you have to be prepared for the worst of things. So yeah, I can totally understand what you're saying about the whole, because I was vlogging at the time, and then people were there asking for vlogs, and I was like, I like just launched a new vlog channel at the time, and I was like, no. Oh no. And no videos for a while on this channel, no way. So fortunately, with the content that I make, I could just play video games. It's kind of like a form of schizophrenia where you can turn your brain onto the
Yeah.
kind of YouTube-y kind of video stuff. Not saying like, I'm not me in my videos. It's still like a mindset. You turn a switch and
Sure.
then you're into
Yeah.
video
No.
making mode. But
There's
it's not.
this.
It's not a
There,
fictitious persona. But
no. There's this phrase. I don't know if you've heard it called. You say "fake it till you make it." Have you ever heard that phrase before?
yeah,
It's like when the big life stuff happens and you do this sort of thing for a living, you're an entertainer. I mean, and I imagine the same sort of logic applies to lots of other fields out there too.
Sportsman.
Not just,
I know a golfer that had to play the U.S. Masters or the U.S. Open or whatever it was 2 days after his wife died. So.
Oh man, yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, I know it's brutal.
But there's this idea that it's okay to fake it for a little bit. Because
not forever.
Not forever, no. But chances are you're not going to feel that way forever if you surround yourself with good people and you make sure you get out of bed in the morning when you wake up and make sure to not skip any meals and just kind of generally take care of yourself during those hard times. Like you will feel better eventually, but there is this element of faking it that can really help, which sounds counterintuitive because I just told you that I don't like to pretend like I'm happy when I'm not. But if it's really tough, then I think it's particularly important to kind of put your best foot forward and just try to be the best person you can be during those times. And if you're not even feeling like that, just fake it, and then eventually it'll start to feel normal again. So,
because I know my biggest enemy in those, like even with people that do YouTube can be kind of there can be downers, like really kind of shitty times during YouTube. That I'm sure there's people right now, especially with everything that's going on, where you just kind of need that distraction. You really need to just keep your mind away from reality. And I was kind of fortunate, with doing this, doing what I did. Now I don't want to paint myself as a goddamn one of Jesus's disciples or something like that. But
we're all
it was kind of
children.
it was kind of nice when I addressed everything that happened. The feedback was like I put no comments on the video because I didn't want any sympathy or shit like that. But it was kind of nice to see how what I did. Like, this is gonna sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but it was nice to see how people that are going through similar things were able to relate.
Yeah, definitely.
And how I used something as a distraction, even if it was like if someone could play sports or take up music or whatever it is, just to don't allow yourself to sit down in the one spot. Because during this, my mind was my biggest enemy. It was scary at how negative and pessimistic my brain was being without me even meaning it to. It would make me think all the horrible things of all outcomes of everything, no matter what it was. My brain was just in this very negative
I get it.
mindset.
And
it can be brutal. So doing what we do, or be it anything, if you play music or, like I said, a sport, it was nice to just keep my brain preoccupied, because once I sit down and think, just sit down on the one spot, that's where I was most vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it was nice seeing everyone in the comments or whatever, or tweets as well, just be kind of like, after, what you've gone through, I can relate. And it was just kind of cool, just getting, that kind of reassurance from the community. It was actually really nice.
Your audience can lift you up. They've done that for me several times. I can't think of enough. They've really changed my life. Well, cool, man. This has been a good talk. I'm glad I got to know you a little bit better here. I like to ask people. You muted yourself again. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Yeah, it just is. Sorry.
So one question I do like to ask people, the people that come onto this thing, is if you could go back and tell 2009 Terroriser something, or 2010, whenever you got the internet. 2010 was Black Ops 1. So what advice would you give yourself based on every bit of wisdom that you've accumulated in the last 6 or 7 years here?
Do YouTube, but don't show your face. That's what I
You
did.
wish you never would have shown your face?
Yeah, I would be fucking huge by now.
What do you mean? Why?
I just always find like it seems to be like a very successful thing to draw this mysterious nature about your face, and then
Are you taking a Smitty these days?
well, Smitty, Delirious, like I just look at them and I'm like, man, people like will go nuts just to find out what you look like, and I just find it entertaining. Smitty's very funny about how he does it too. I really enjoy how Smitty does it. Delirious and are just kind of like just keeping it, under wraps or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But Smitty's very funny about how he does it. He has a lot of fun with it.
I don't know. I like it.
But I'm
attention
curious.
too much.
No, but the thing is, I'm curious. What would it be like if I never showed my face? That's what I'd like to. If you could like do a Doctor Strange thing and open up a portal and look at the way it is now, and then look at if I didn't show my face, what would it be like on the right? Just out of curiosity.
Do you think that you would have been as big as you were had you not?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I'd love to know. Like, is it the whole thing about just not showing your face, or is it your personality? It'd be kind of cool to see.
I hear what you're saying.
There's
some mystery.
But I'm
to
glad.
it.
Yeah, but I'm glad I've done, because I want people to get to know me.
Yeah.
I want them to know me, just be everything like I like this guy. If it's about the videos or the people I play with, I'll go to that's great. But I really care about that percentile of those people that just that are there for me. So, not about like, oh, hopefully one day he'll do a face reveal. I don't want that. But it's always been something that I've been curious about. The whole kind of enigmatic persona that some people have.
That's an interesting answer. That's one I haven't heard yet. I don't think I could have. There's no way.
I'm not going to give that whole work hard, keep your head up, aim for the stars, little Brian. It's like, no, don't show your face.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Don't show your face. Well, there you go. I don't think I would have been as. There's no way I would have had as much success had I not shown my face. So I'm firmly in the let your colors shine bright camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you are an internet sex god, so.
We're
thankful you showed your face.
Listen, I didn't earn this face. It was just a genetic lottery, so I can't take credit for it. Hey, Brian, it was good to talk to you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure.
And,
Thank you.
Giving me your time, and let's play games again. And we haven't played in a while.
Yeah, cool. All right, hold you to it.
All right, take it easy, pal.
All right, bye, dudes.